Hey, hey, hey! So, today we are doing... Oh, that's the wrong intro. Welcome back to my channel! So today we're going to talk about... we're going to do a book review. So today's book is Twisted Games. This is book 2 in the Twisted series by Anna Huang. He can't have her, but he's taking her anyway. So we read the first book. And it took me a little bit longer to read the second book, and it's been even longer for me to actually sit down and film this review. But let's go ahead and start with the summary on the back, and then we'll talk about it. Perhaps I was always meant to find my way to you. Stoic, broody, and arrogant, elite bodyguard Riss has 2 rules. I'm used to like Rissand from Ekotar. 1. Protect his clients at all costs. 2. Do not become emotionally involved. Ever. He has never once been tempted to break those rules. Until her. Bridget von Ashburg, a princess with a stubborn streak that matches his own and a hidden fire that reduces his rules to ash. She's nothing he expected and everything he never knew he needed. Day by day, inch by inch, she breaks down his defenses until he's faced with a truth he can no longer deny. He swore an oath to protect her, but all he wants is to ruin her, take her, because she's his princess, his forbidden fruit, his every depraved fantasy. Regal, strong-willed, and bound by the chains of duty, Princess Bridget dreams of the freedom to live and love as she chooses. But when her brother abdicates, she's suddenly faced with the prospect of a loveless but politically expedient marriage and a throne she never wanted. And as she navigates the intricacies and treacheries of her new role, she must also hide her desire for a man she can't have, her bodyguard, her protector, her ultimate ruin. Unexpected and forbidden, theirs is a love that could destroy a kingdom and doom them both. So, the first book was about Anna and Alex, Ava and Alex, and how they met, and Bridget is one of Ava's friends. You know, typically when you start a series like that, you know, it's kind of like she has a couple of friends, he has a couple of friends, and then eventually all the friends get together. It's kind of, you can almost predict that if it's a series. This is actually different. So Bridget is friends with Ava, but Riss is not, he's not friends with Alex. I think, you know, I mean, I think he could be friends with Alex. Like, I do think that they would get along, but it's like there's no pre-existing relationship between them. That's not how they met. They met because he was hired to be her new bodyguard after her old bodyguard, Booth, went on paternity leave. So congratulations to Booth and his wife. But he went on paternity leave, and he was like her favorite bodyguard. He'd been there for so long. She knew him very, very well. She really liked him. Riss comes in the picture, and he's like trying to change everything. He's telling her everything is unsafe and basically trying to like boss her around. And she's just like, who do you think you are? Like, I'm legitimately a prince. Like, what are you doing? And of course she rebels against that. But Bridget also, she doesn't parade around like a princess. She's from a country called Eldora, which I don't know the precise like global location of, but it's not like in the United States because she's living in the United States. I believe she's living in New York, living her life, going to school, to college, university, and she volunteers a lot at the local animal shelter. Like, nobody knows that she's a princess. Basically, she's living, being able to do, you know, what she wants. She does have a bodyguard with her just in case, but it's not like she's being swarmed by people. It's not like she's a huge celebrity. Not a lot of people know who she is, so I'm sure some people do. But she doesn't walk around saying, you know, I'm Prince. She doesn't call herself like Princess Bridget. Like, I'm a prince. She doesn't throw that in anybody's face or throw that around. She really wants to not be known. She wants to be somewhere where nobody knows that she's a princess, so she can live her life how she wants to live it and do what she wants without having to worry about that. So what happens is her brother falls in love with a commoner, and there's this thing called a royal marriages law. So obviously that's kind of a real thing in real life too. Typically royals marry other royals, at least that it used to be a thing in real life. It's, you know, they've kind of gotten better about it, but usually they do marry in like certain families, right? Or they will have arranged marriages in certain families to keep the royal bloodline, to merge countries together to form like an alliance or whatever. But he falls in love with a commoner, and he is the crown prince, which means he is next in line for the throne after their grandfather, who is elderly. He's still king, but he's, getting older, so they have a crown prince. He's been trained and groomed to be prince like his whole life. Like, he's been in training. They've taught him how to do stuff pretty much his whole life. So when he falls in love with a commoner and then he decides to abdicate the throne, Bridget is thrown into this world where she's next in line for the throne. So she becomes the crown princess, and she has never been trained for it. So she has to literally, she ends up having to move to Eldora and get trained on how to be queen, and how to do all of just royal policies, like how to behave, how to act. She's got to get used to that role. And in this book, there is a royal marriages law. So Nikolai, her brother, abdicates because he fell in love with a commoner, and because he's the crown prince, he has to marry another person of a title, right? And his beloved is not. So he abdicates the throne. He picks love over duty, which puts Bridget in kind of the same quandary, because it's interesting how it develops. But she, of course, is like, I'm not gonna abdicate the throne. She's the last in their line of family. So if she were to abdicate, it would go to somebody outside their family. She's like, I'm not going to do that. And apparently this country hasn't had a female queen in a really long time, like centuries, decades, centuries, like really, really long time. So she's not thrilled about it, but she has to do this. And I have to say, Bridget was not my favorite of Ava's friends in the first one. She just wasn't. I don't know who would be my favorite of her friends, but it was very interesting to read about. And I know, this author throughout the whole book, she's like, this is not a fairy tale, or this isn't a fairy tale story. It kind of is, because Bridget is a princess, okay? And, it's about her falling in love. And, of course, when you fall in love with somebody, there's always going to be trials and tribulations. It doesn't matter if you're royal or not. It doesn't matter. Those issues are different, obviously, for everybody. But you're always going to have problems. Things are always going to come up, and you have to either tackle it together, or you have to figure it out, and all that stuff. If you know, you know. But okay, let's go into this. This was first published in 2021 and again in 2022. 432 pages, so it has 51 chapters plus 2 bonus chapters. I think there was an epilogue in here too. Was the epilogue one of the bonus? Yeah. So there's an epilogue, and then there's a bonus chapter. The characters that you meet at the beginning are not necessarily the same as the characters you meet at the end. They both grow a lot. Obviously, Bridget having to, get trained and kind of become this regal royal person when she's used to living her life and doing whatever she wants to do. Obviously, that's a big difference. That's a change. And I don't want to spoil too much in this review. I did review it on my blog, so if you want to see more of an in-depth review, go to my website, beautifullyfearless.com. There should be a link for my blog somewhere on there. And you can read a more detailed review. But Bridget does not end up with a prince. I will just go ahead and say that for you. It's quite interesting because Rhys, they do become attached to each other. And he grew up with a single mom who was very cruel to him. And his father was somebody who was from Eldora, who was with his mother, and then he had to go back to Eldora for something. Said that he would come back for her and then never did, and she kind of blamed him for his whole life, about why her life is so shitty and why, she's suffering and why things are so bad. She blamed him and really took it out on him. She was very physically abusive. So I will say there is some triggering content in here. She does put some content warnings. This story contains explicit sexual content, profanity, and topics that may be sensitive to some readers. And then there's a QR code if you want more detailed information. So there is some talk about physical abuse of a child. There is a lot of spicy sexual content. She does also include a playlist, so that's good. This book is also similar to the first one, where we have not every other chapter changes, but chapter 11 is Bridget, and we have you know, chapter 10 is wrist, so it's not like every other chapter changes. Sometimes you might get 2 or 3 chapters of the same point of view, and then it goes back to the other person. But we do get both sides, so you do hear like Riss's, what he's thinking and his point of view, and you get Bridget's too. It's quite interesting. I really enjoyed this book. I dare say I even enjoyed this book more than I enjoyed the first one. And this book leaves me excited to read the next books in the series, which I have all of because you can get them all in a box set. I do highly, highly recommend this if you like a dark romance. This isn't super, super dark. Okay, I know it says he can't have her, but he's taking her anyway. It's not super, super dark compared to some of the other dark romances that I've read. There's not a whole lot of violence between them. It's not like, you know, a BDSM kind of situation necessarily. You know, they may explore that area. I'm not completely sure. I mean, I think probably in some areas there is, but like it's not, compared to other books that I've read, this is not very bad as far as that goes. There's a lot of sex and a lot of spiciness, but it's not specifically like dark, like BDSM kind of thing. So don't be afraid of that. Yeah, I mean, I really enjoyed this book. I rated it 4 out of 5 stars. It's not complete, it's not perfect, but it is very, very good. It's very hard to get a 5-star review in my world, okay, for a book. I will say that I started this book on 8/16 and I finished this book on 9/12, and it is after 9/12 that I'm filming this. But the reason is that I had, that was during the Altador Cup at Neopets, so I was doing a lot of playing and competing in that, which didn't leave a whole lot of time for reading. And sometimes when I feel like I'm getting into a book, if things get too intense, I have to put it down. I have to put it down. I have to go do something else because I can't mentally, like, I just can't process everything, and it's just too much. So I have to put it down and then come back to it. But I did rate this 4 out of 5 stars. I highly, highly recommend. I will say you could definitely read this book without reading the first one. There are some things that you may not understand. There are some things that, you know, some jokes or some, you know, some little things here and there. There is like Ava and Alex and the friends. They're all in this book too, but closer to the end. So it's kind of like, and their part is not a whole lot of the first book is brought into this. Like the people, the characters from the first book are, but this could definitely be read as a standalone, but you'll get much more enjoyment out of it if you've read the first one. So I cannot wait to read book number 3, but I give this 4 out of 5 stars. Let me know if you have read this book, and what you thought of it. I want to know, good or bad. I want to know in the comments below. Please don't put too many spoilers in the comments. I do like to have like a conversation about books. I want to, you know, open up my comment section for that. But if people haven't read this book and you watch this video and you're like, wow, maybe I should pick up that book, I don't want you to scroll down in the comments or read the comments and get things spoiled for you any more than I have already spoiled them for you. But I feel like a lot of this stuff you can deduce by the back. I just kind of expanded on this just a smidge. And like I said, go to my website. You can find my blog, and there's a more detailed review over there. I always do detailed reviews on my blog, and then over here I just kind of try to be a little bit more vague about it. I will include everything that I use for my makeup in the description box below. Some products will have an Amazon affiliate link with them. I will include a link for the book as well. These links are affiliate links, which means they do pay me a small amount if you use them to purchase anything. I'll link this book probably, and like the full box set. I don't know. I should probably start linking like book 1, book 2, and then as soon as we, you know, list all the books singly, and then list a full set of them. So, I bought the set, I have to say. I bought the first book and then I bought the set. So I have 2 versions of 2 copies of the first book. But I really enjoy this series. This is good for like people who, you kind of like just dip your foot in the dark romance, but it's not like you want the full on, you know, full on like murder and, you know, just all of the more extreme stuff. This is very, very light. It's very enjoyable. It's not something that, I don't know. I just feel like this is a cute romance. It's not super heavy with the dark romance. It's kind of, you know, you dipping your foot in it. It's got a little bit of it in there for enough for you to like enjoy it if you kind of like that, but you don't like the super intense ones. So there's that. But yeah, let me know everything in the comments below. Don't forget to go follow me over on the Instagram. Like this video if you like this video. Subscribe if you haven't already. Ring that bell icon to get notified whenever I upload a new video, because you never know what kind of content is going to pop up over here on this channel. I thank y'all so much for watching. I love y'all very, very much, and I will see you in the next one. Bye!